Hello and welcome back to another episode of the DIYguy.net.
Alright, so today we're going to show you how to rebuild an outdoor water hydrant. This one right here is a Simmons brand. It's actually imprinted over here on the other side. So you can search the head of your water hydrant to figure out the manufacturer so you can order the correct rebuild kit. If you're not sure, they do make some generic ones and they go on the color of the head. So whether it's the blue, the red, or the yellow, you can order one of those kits and hopefully those parts will fit as well. Alright, the reason we're building this one today is they got to kind of jiggle the handle to find that sweet spot where it actually shuts off and stops dripping. And they pay for their water, so it can be a costly mistake if they leave it on just a little bit and it drips all night or a couple days until they notice that it's actually dripping. This rebuild will also show you how to rebuild the O-rings in here for the packing nut. So if you have a hose on here and you open it up and you have water trickling out of here and running down, we're going to show you how to rebuild those O-rings as well. Alright, so the first step is to shut the water off or isolate the hydrant from the rest of the water. That way when we pop it apart, we don't get wet. Lucky for us, there's a meter hole right here dug in, and that actually has a ball valve to shut this hydrant off. So we're going to go ahead and shut that off. We'll open the hydrant up, let the pressure bleed off. That way when we remove the head from the standpipe, we don't get wet. Alright, so we got the valve off. We're just going to put a bucket there just in case we have to kneel down. We're not going to get wet. We'll go ahead and open the standpipe and bleed off the pressure. Alright, so there wasn't that much water in this one because really we're only about 2 feet away from that ball valve to shut this hydrant off. So now that we have it drained down, we can go ahead and grab our pipe wrench. We'll put it on the top of our hydrant head here and go ahead and spin that off. If it doesn't work or it's really stubborn and it doesn't want to come off, you may want to get another pipe wrench, put it on the standpipe, work them against each other, give you a little more force. If that doesn't work, you can go ahead and use a torch, apply some heat up here onto the head of it, and then go ahead and unthread it. Alright, so we're going to move our bucket out of the way, go ahead and grab our pipe wrench, open it accordingly, get it onto the head of it. So once you get the head all the way up, you have to jiggle it, pull up as the rubber slides along the pipe. Let me set this up here. Alright, so the reason that these fail is because this rubber here gets ripped or damaged. I don't know if you can see it, there's a little gouge in it right there. Or they just get super hard where they don't push down on the seats and make a proper seal so the water keeps traveling up and then out the head of it. So what we're going to do is grab our vice grips, unthread this brass piece which is attached to the rubber, and then thread on our new one. Try to keep it in frame so you can see it. Alright, so we'll grab our small vice grips, clip it onto the end of the brass piece right next to the rubber. Alright, now that we got those clicked on, we're going to grab those, hold the head of it, rotate them in opposite directions, and try to pop that off. This one wasn't that bad. Alright, so we got that off now. Alright, so we got it off. There you go, now you can see there's a couple rips in it like I said, but this one's actually super hard where it's not seating into there properly to make a good seal. So we'll go ahead and unpackage our new one and thread it onto the end of our rod. Alright, so here's what the new one looks like. As you can see, it's not as pointy as the other one. It's kind of a bull nose, kind of flatter, and it's definitely a lot softer of a rubber. So we're going to go ahead and take a wire brush those threads off. You may want to put some anti-seize on the threads before you thread the new rubber on, just to make it a little bit easier next time to get it off.
Alright, now that we have it hand tight, we can go ahead and grab our vice grips and snug it down.
Alright, so now we have the rubber installed at the end of our hydrant. We're going to go ahead and swing that out of the way. We'll grab our wire brush to the top of this down these threads. That way we can apply some soft sealant, thread sealant to it to make sure we got a good seal. We're using the Real Tough stuff because that's what they bought. The Gasola seems to work pretty good. That's what I normally use. We'll apply a good amount around the top of it. Alright, so now we got the thread sealant on the top of our standpipe. We can go ahead and grab the hydrant head, open the handle all the way, that way it'll pull the plunger up as high as possible. When you go ahead and reinstall the head of the hydrant back onto the standpipe. Start it by hand, get it down a few turns, then go ahead and snug it back up with our pipe wrench. Alright, so now that we got it threaded down by hand, we'll go ahead and grab our pipe wrench and give it a few more turns to tighten it up. Alright, when you're snugging it down, keep in mind where your hose bib is going to land when you stop tightening it. You want to make sure you're not up against a fence post or something like that, where it's going to hinder you getting the hose actually onto the adapter. Alright, so now we got the head back on the standpipe. I'm going to go ahead and move the camera over here so you can get a better angle on the backside when we take it apart to replace those O-rings for the packing nut, and when we adjust the throw of the lever to actually shut the hydrant off. Alright, so we got this bolt right here, the square one, that actually adjusts the throw or the lever onto the handle which does the plunger. So we're going to go ahead and loosen that, and that's how you would adjust where it shuts off.
Alright, next we can grab an 11mm wrench and a small channel lock pliers. We'll go ahead and remove the 11mm bolt and nut off the top of the hydrant to remove the handle. Next we can grab the channel lock pliers again, loosen the packing nut and remove it. Next we can grab a small pick or flat screwdriver and remove the two O-rings that were underneath the packing nut around the plunger rod. Now that we removed both old O-rings, we can go ahead and unpackage our new ones and slide them down onto the plunger rod using the flat side of the screwdriver. That way we do not damage the new O-rings. So we want to push that second O-ring down far enough so you can start the packing nut into the threads. We'll go ahead and grab our packing nut, slide it onto the plunger shaft, snug it down by hand, and then we'll go ahead and grab our channel lock pliers and give it a little bit more. We don't need to go too tight right now as they are brand new O-rings, and we can adjust the tightness if it's leaking later on. Next we can grab that brass piece that slides onto our plunger that has the square set screw. Then we can grab the two side brass pieces and put them onto that brass piece that goes onto the plunger. Next we'll reinstall the handle on the other end of those brass pieces, and then we can go ahead and align it and slide it in between the top of the hydrant and reinstall that 11mm bolt and nut, and we'll run it down hand tight. Now that we have a nut hand tight, we can go ahead and grab our 11mm wrench and our channel lock pliers and give it a few turns more. We don't want to over tighten it as it'll pinch the top of the hydrant and make the handle hard to move. So now that we have the handle for the hydrant reassembled, we can go ahead and lift it, reinstall that square set screw into that brass piece that rides along the plunger. We can go ahead and lower the handle to about 30 degrees and then tighten the set screw. And then we'll go ahead and turn the water on and test it to make sure it works properly. When we open it, we have full pressure, and when we shut it, we don't have any drips or leaks. If you need to readjust it, shut the water off with the hydrant closed, loosen that set screw, move the handle up 30 degrees again, then retighten that square screw and then test it again.
Alright, so we ran it for a little bit, cleaned it all out. As you can see, we have no drips here at the end where we attach the hose. We have no leaking in here by the packing nut, and no leak where we actually attach the hydrant head back onto the standpipe. So that's it. We just showed you how to rebuild a outdoor hydrant or faucet that is either dripping or leaking around the packing nut.
Don't forget to click the link in the description, which will take you to our website for a full write-up. You can also click that subscribe button in the middle. On the right, we have a recommended video just for you. And on the left, you'll find our recent upload. Thanks for watching another episode of the DIYguy.net.